What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wheel Talk. Before I get started with this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share a hype if you have one. So today I'm going to be talking about a little bit of a life update and some plans that I got going for the summer. If you've seen in the video facing forward, I'm in traffic right now. It's June 15th at 7 o'clock. It's a Monday, and it's probably like 90 degrees out where I live, and out here in San Francisco, it's cloudy and foggy, so it looks like it's probably about 60 outside, which is crazy how different the Bay Area weather is compared to out more inland. A little bit about an update on where I'm at. So I'm 2 semesters into my master's program, and I just started the summer. The summertime is supposed to be a crunch time where you generate a lot of data, and that's the goal, is to generate as much data as I can, at least something that's significant that I could use to write my master's thesis on. Hopefully I'm able to do that, because I'm at a pivotal situation in terms of my housing and mortgage and income situation. So I don't really want to dip into my savings that much, because I'm sitting on a lot of cash, and it feels good to have that cushion. And if I'm being transparent, so something that I did was I put my mortgage in forbearance. I don't know if that was the right decision, but I think it was a smart decision, given that, this whole time I've still been looking for jobs, but the biotech market is pretty rough right now. And so I started recently applying to jobs outside of biotech, and one in particular is at my community college, which is like an administrative role. It's like an assistant to like a higher level person within like the Department of Instruction, which is actually, I was thinking, kind of like a good foot in the door for both teaching at the community college, but also maybe, I get back into the community college system, and then I figure out how to get into a position like that where I'm like one of these leaders on the admin side, because they make pretty good money. I'm assuming at least like 150 to like 300K plus. Like, the sky's the limit, to be honest, if you're like a president of a community college or something like that. And I'm pretty sure what you need is an MBA, and you can do a lot of programs for MBAs online. So that's something that I'm considering potentially doing. Not seriously, like at the moment. Right now I'm just trying to get a job. So I rewrote my entire resume for this particular job. Like, I took out all of the jargon for like the science work that I did, and I kind of just talked about how the work that I did could fit into the role that they're hiring for, because to be honest, I'm overqualified for the position in terms of education as well as experience. But the thing is, I would start off at like 65 to 70K a year. I'm hoping they put me in the 70K bucket, and then as every year goes on, it goes up by like 3,000 to 4,000. And so if they started me at 70K, it would take me about 3 years to get to about 80K, which is where I would top out at in that position. But in 3 years, there's a lot of things that I'm going to be doing, that I could be doing, to increase my income even further. Which, let's say if my school allows me to continue my master's program part-time, doing like some online courses or research or writing, like thesis writing, to get my units. If that occurs, then I will be able to have my master's, and then I can do that admin role. Because remember, to teach at the community college as a full-time professor, it's a very competitive, that's just like biotech, it's very hard to get into those positions, especially full-time. Adjunct, part-time teaching with no benefits, you teach like one class here and there, those are easy to get. And what I could do is use this admin role as my base salary. So like, yeah, this is my day-to-day job, but on the side, I do like my passion, which is like to teach at the community college. And then I can do all of that at one school, which is the community college I went to. And so that would be like, let's say 80K base salary just for the admin role. And then with my master's, I could teach a class at night in the spring and the one in the fall semester. And that could bring in anywhere from like an extra 10 to 15K a year. So that'd bring me up to like 95,000 a year. Plus I have Scooby-Doo, which is my business that I run. Like, it's a sole proprietor. Basically, I'm just running it myself. Right now I have 5 solid customers that, they have their bills on auto pay, and they don't even like question it, because they appreciate the service. And total, that's probably about, $650. You know, I just started that in February, so it's March, April, May, June. So 4 months. That's not too good, but I'm also not putting my full effort. What I'm doing is just making sure I'm consistent with my processes, procedures, and showing up on time to the customers who I do got. I'm gonna start my ads again this week, but long story short, this position is kind of like a clock in, clock out type of situation. It's not like one of those. It's not like my master's program where I have to do work outside of school, or like I have to take work home with me, or like in biotech I would have to, like, you know, you'd still be thinking about your work outside of work. It's just kind of like you do what you got to do, and that's it. It's like a low pressure, low stress type of situation. So then, like, if I had my master's plus the community college, my master's plus the admin role plus Scooby-Doo, master's at 80K, so like I could be around like 90 to 95K just with those two things. If I add in my business, that's, who knows, that could, let's just say $1,000 bare minimum, because I'm almost already there. So then that'll bring another additional 12,000. So that's like 100 and what was I at before? So that was 90 with the two jobs, and then that'd be like 95. That'd be like 111 with those three things, assuming the bare minimum for my Scooby-Doo. But the thing is, that admin role will allow me to focus time and energy on building the business. So it's kind of like a low pressure way to build the business, where I buy myself time to accrue income from the business, to eventually where, like, in 3 to 4 years it might supplement my actual salary to where I'm breaking even, and at that point I can hire someone. And then also I was thinking about converting my garage into a, what do you call that, like in a studio, where it'll have like its own kitchen, bathroom, like a little kitchenette, bathroom, entrance, and then we'll share the washer dryer situation. But yeah, that's kind of the situation that I'm thinking about right now, and I almost like prefer that over the biotech situation, because like I said, biotech is really far from where I live, and I'm not really sure I really want to live out here in the Bay Area. Like, the city life is not really for me. And if we did live out here, and like long story short, we would probably end up in like a place like Richmond or Oakland, and like probably not any nice area in those areas. So kind of like where we're at right now. So those are some of the things that I'm doing. And I feel pretty competitive for that role because I have a really strong cover letter, my resume. Like I said, the requirement's an associate's degree, and I have a bachelor's degree. So I'm well qualified for the position. It's just whether they think I'm overqualified to where I might, like, I'm just going to leave at the moment another role comes up in biotech, which is not necessarily the case, although I would have to consider that. And also, I still have connections to like higher ups at my community college who will vouch for me. I already asked them for letters of rec. One is the dean of math and science, and then the other one is my professor, who actually inspired me to like pursue the route of biology. And they said that they would write references for me, so that increases my confidence. So all I have to do is show up for the interview, and like, I'm assuming I'm gonna get an interview. Like, let's just say I don't. Let's just say I do. I have to start practicing for interviews. Long story short, I have to generate as much data as I can this summer to be able to work this master's program out, because if I don't know when they'll let me start the job if I did get it. Let's just say it might take a couple of months. I don't know. They might start me in like 2 weeks, which I'm not sure if my school would allow me to continue the master's program if I'm not able to generate the data, because this is a research-based master's program. But I'll figure that out later. I'm trying to stabilize my income first, because if I start bringing in that money plus my savings, we'll be chilling. And then we also get benefits like dental, medical, vision, retirement, like a pension, and then I think you will also have a 401k. And so, like, depending on if I get the job, will determine how much of a crunch I need in the lab. So we'll see what happens. But I've also been applying to biotech roles as well. Whatever comes up that's related to my skill set, I'll apply to. And some of these are contract positions where those are like a year-long contract, and you don't get any benefits with that as well, but they'll pay you more. So like those could be like paying 60 to 65 an hour. Some of them try and lowball you at like 35 to 40 an hour, but I'm like, hell, like it's definitely not worth it in that situation, because I'm already making way more than that. or I was making way more than that, and I could make similar being admin at the community college, like 25 minutes from my house. So it's like, versus coming all the way out to like San Francisco or South San Francisco, it's not worth it to make that much money way out here where I'm at right now. Yeah, because to be honest, if I got a biotech role, like the money would be like sweet, but if it's not at the company I used to work with, then it's like, how am I going to get out there? Because the company I worked with, they had a shuttles, like a double-decker bus that would pick up in a couple cities over from where I live. So I could just like wake up, get on the bus, and then like fall asleep, and they'd drive me like, I don't know, an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours coming back, 2.5 hours, and then I'd have to still commute back home. But without that option, like if I get into another biotech without that commuting situation, it's a lot more difficult, because then I'd be driving every day or camping out like I'm doing right now, and that's like not really a long-term solution. I got a lot to think about. I was actually really stressed over the weekend trying to figure out what's going to happen, because I thought when you put your mortgage in forbearance, we could talk about this as well. I thought when you put your mortgage in forbearance, you could just resume payments, like if you have savings or severance or, you know, cash reserves, but that's not the situation. Then you have to like prove that you could afford it now. To do that, you need income, and I have income from my stipend, but it's not enough. They'll use the same income that they use for you to purchase your house, which is like an affordability ratio. It's like they want your income to be about, they don't want your mortgage payment to be about 40% of your take-home pay. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think as long as I get a decent paying job, they'll be able to work with me. Right now I'm pulling up to my school, which I got pulled over the other day. That's in a video that's coming out. I think I'm like 3 videos behind, but this cop, he pulled me over. He's being kind of an asshole. I have tinted windows, so that's a reason for him to pull me over. Plus he already pulled me over. Plus they gave me a ticket, and I'm pretty sure it was him. So what I'm doing right now is rolling down my windows because they're tinted. And he pulled me over supposedly because he said I ran 2 stop signs, which this place where I'm stopped right now, there's no stop sign. And then he said I was speeding. He said, which I probably was going like 20, but I didn't realize that there's a speed limit. So I do this like California stop, but I feel like it's pretty safe to do it where we're at. But they usually park, I'll show you. He usually parks a cop. I'm not saying it's the same cop. Usually it's an SUV that I see parked up to the right. So we'll see if I'm not trying to get pulled over. And see, right now I'm not even paying attention, but I am actually going 15 miles per hour. There's people over here walking. See, he usually is up here to the right where that red parking paint was, over here to the right, but he wasn't there right now. That's not to say that he's going to be around this corner, which I'll show you right now. I have to make a left and then a right, and then if I see him, I'm just going to get out and go to the building and charge my things. But if not, I'm going to park where I usually park. So hopefully I don't see no one that I know. Let's see. Yeah, no. This is where I see him. He made the turn that I just made, and then he went over here to this loading zone, flipped a biatch, and then came, but I go left and then I go down here and park. So I know once I get over here, I'm like good to go. And this week I'm gonna be here like all week, to be honest, because I have a lot of shit to do and I'm training someone in the lab. So once I get here, I know I'm pretty good, to be honest, because it's like reaching home base. I'm just putting up the sun visor. I use that as a cover for the front window. I think, to be honest, it's more stealth, because I could make custom lines for it, but if I do that, it doesn't look as stealth because it's not as natural. Let me see. This one. Trying to think if I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Yeah, because I did the biotech. And again, I'm using these dowel rods over here. Let me show you, because these will pop out. So I'll just tuck it in here and then tuck it down here. Oops. Let me see. Is this? There we go. Kind of like that. And then do the same on the other side. And then I think I'm good to go. But yeah, long story short, I'm trying to stabilize my income, and it's kind of do or die. I need a job. Like I said, I've been looking, but previously I was only looking in biotech. Now I'm looking in whatever. So right now I'm about to head into lab. I'm going to do some work. I also made these meal preps. So they're teriyaki chicken bowls. Pretty good. I already tried them out. And you just leave the lid on, microwave for 3 minutes, mix, microwave another 3 minutes, and you're good to go. I also meal prep breakfast burritos. chorizo, egg, and potatoes. I'll take you out with me real quick. If you watched one of my previous videos, I said there's a guy that makes hamburgers, and they're over there right now selling hamburgers. One of these days I'm gonna go try it out, but not right now. Also, I connected my Nintendo